Hey guys, how's it going? How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. If this is your first time checking out Two Little Vines channel, what is that? My name is Amy. If you're returning, welcome back to my channel. So these are your additional messages for the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine. It's been a couple days and I have been getting people left, right, and center being like, Amy, when are you going to upload a new one? When are you going to upload? And, I really wanted to upload it last night, but I just wasn't in my element. I have a lot going on in my personal life and I didn't want that to get into my reading. So I felt like, last night, even though, so many people were on me to get it done, I just wasn't feeling it. So I knew that this weekend I would have no kids. So this is my weekend of, busting it down and getting everything done. So I just decided I'm going to start off the readings tonight with the Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine reading. I got to say, it's very interesting what's coming out. And it's, what's interesting about this Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine messages is that every time I channel, every time I message, it feels like I'm going with different scenarios. Like I feel like I'm constantly picking up new things from new people. And I don't know if it's because, new people are starting to come towards my channel and their stories are different, or if like what's happening is that like I find myself channeling a bunch of different stories, and that's why I try to reach out and grab whatever messages I can and get them in here so I can get them written down in my journal. But it's being in this point where today there's so many messages coming in for the Divine Feminine that's where I had to start, because Divine Feminine, there's a group of you that have gone one way, and then I have the other Divine Feminines who have actually gone a different way. So it's like split. Even with the Divine Masculine, I feel like the no, never mind. Divine Masculines are pretty much all the same for me. I take that back. But the Divine Feminine, I feel like you guys most of you are going through this weird phrase. I don't know how else to put it, but so I will start off with the Divine Feminine because I really feel like this reading today is definitely aiming at you guys. I definitely don't want you guys to feel like I'm not trying to pay attention to you guys, because I am. I often notice, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but I also notice that a lot of the readings right now are aiming more towards the Divine Masculine than they are Divine Feminine. And that's probably a lot to do with, a lot of females watch these videos for the Divine Masculines, right? But I feel like what I'm picking up with the Divine Feminine is a message that the Divine Feminines themselves need to hear. So that's where I'm going with this reading, guys. So moving through this. So this is what I'm talking about. So I'm going to start off with Divine Feminine. So this is what I'm talking about when it comes to the different scenarios, the different, I wouldn't even be atmospheres. It's definitely situations. But I feel like if I was to explain this to you guys, the best way I know how to explain what I'm feeling, what I'm channeling, what's happening is that, if I had a group of girls in front of me, I would, literally stand in the middle of these group of girls and just split them apart. Because that's how I feel the Divine Feminines are. And the reason I say that is because A group, I'll just call you guys A group. I feel like this A group of Divine Feminines have gotten to this place where, I saw them packing their bags. That's what I have written down. You just kind of were like, and I'm going to pack my bags and I'm going to be out. And that's it. Like, you're out of here. You're leaving. You just got to this point where you got so frustrated. You got so, and anger is not the word that I would say, but it's more frustrating. It's more, I don't want to live my life like this. I don't want to wait around anymore. Like, what am I waiting for? I've had no connections. I have no commitments. I have, no communication. Like, what am I waiting for? And so I feel where that group A, that part of you is like, you guys are so frustrated because it's like, I can't wait. Like, and I literally feel like right through the screen, or like the girls in front of me for that group, they're like, we just couldn't wait anymore. We felt like the only thing that we needed to do for ourselves right now was to walk away, and I don't think that you walked away because you wanted to hurt the DM. I just literally feel like picking up and leaving and moving your energy elsewhere was a way for you to heal. It was a way for you to, not only forgive the divine masculines, but it was a way for you to kind of start forgiving yourself. So I don't know who that's for, but it's kind of like this group A going on over here is that, you left because you felt like you had no other options. You felt like you had no other way to move through this right now. Like the pain of holding on, the pain of waiting around, it was just eating you alive. All right. So that's group A. That was the first real message that was coming through the divine feminines for January 4th. And just because I say it's January 4th, guys, it doesn't mean that's what you're going through right now. It could be what you go through in a week, which you've already gone through. It's just a date I put down. So group B, you guys, well, group A misses DM too, misses and loves, all that stuff. You guys already know that. So group B, you guys also miss your divine masculine. You haven't had, and I don't want to say it's courage. It is courage in a way, but it's more of you can't imagine walking away from DM. It does not matter how long you have to wait. You're kind of like, I'm not walking away from my DM. I'm staying right here and I'm waiting until he gets off his ass to come towards me. It's like, no, I'm waiting right here. And that's why I'm saying I feel like it's split down in the middle, because not everyone's going to resonate with group A. Not everyone's going to resonate with group B, but it's in this point of, the two things that you guys have in common for group A and group B is that you love divine masculine, you love and miss him, but it's just to the point, like I said, group A had to walk away, they had to leave, they had to disconnect in order to refocus on their own lives, to take care of themselves, whatever it was, they just had to leave. Whereas group B, like just the thought of disconnecting from divine masculine, it just makes them sick. It makes them feel kind of like all of the hard work or all of the years or months or however long you've been disconnected. Like if you were to leave, you would literally feel like that was wasted time. Right? So here's what's happening. And I don't feel like it's group A. It could be group A, but you guys can let me know in the comments where you're at. But what I feel like, especially for group B, is that you're having a really hard time concentrating. And I don't feel like it's just during the day. I mean, it's going to bed because you're just so physically exhausted. And it's like the moment you think that the moment you hit the pillow, you would be out. But then it's like something clicks and you're finding yourself up every night crying. I have crying down here. I have, you can't sleep. You're in your head. I feel like you're up all hours in the nights. And I know I can relate to that because I have, a little bit of stuff going on in my life. I don't know if it's because of my DM or if it's because of other issues going on in my life, but I have found myself up at weird hours, which I love my sleep and I like my sleep during the night, okay? And, I have these moments like just this week alone. I don't know if you guys also have been going through this where, I'll go to sleep by 10, 10:30, 11 because I'm old. I'm not really old, but and I find by midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm back up, and what else are you going to do at that hour, right? Like, I'm not going to wake up my kids. So it's like, I find myself binge watching Grey's Anatomy, right? Like, that's like my go-to show right now. But it's like being so physically tired, so emotionally drained, DFs, your body is waking you up in all of these hours. And I don't know if it's a connection towards the DM, if the DM is going through this too. I didn't channel it, but that doesn't mean that it's not happening. Okay? So I want you to understand that you could be waking up at those hours because your DM is either still up thinking about you at those hours or something in a connection of that, because that just came through now. But it's being in this place where I feel like the DF, she's just crying. She's finding herself all up in that. Like she's finding herself up all hours in the night, but she's clueless. She's conflicted. And I even feel like some of you have gotten to this point where you've been so frustrated and, you've taken out your phone in the middle of the night and you read out all this message and you tell the DM how you feel, but you never press the send button. And I actually got the last reading for the divine masculine. It was like he was writing out all these messages, but he could not press the send button. So I don't know if what's going on right now is that there's a release between the both of you. And that's the only way you guys are able to release how you feel at the moment is to write it out, but you're not sending it. And I don't know if it's fear because neither of you know how the other person's going to react, but it's tough. It's tough. And I feel like Divine Feminine, you're just in this place where, I feel like for group A too, honestly, where you could be going all day. You could be at work. You could be dealing with your kids. You could be keeping your mind occupied. But it's like the minute that your mind has a second to slow down, or you have a second to slow down, and you're in that quiet time, you could be listening to music, or you could just be reading a book, or, staring out the window, or staring at your car at the lights or something, whatever. And it's like an instant thought, and you think of DM, right? And you get pulled back into that direction of like really feeling that heartbreak feeling, because I feel like some of you are extremely heartbroken because you have not had any communication with the DMs, and I feel like those silent moments are mostly when those feelings come up. It's not necessarily when you're busy and you're go and your mind's on 10,000 other things. It feels like when you start to really calm down, when you start to really wind down at the end of the night, that's when I feel like you're really zoning back into that DM moment, And I even feel like for the Divine Feminine, it's being in this place where, she could be venturing off. I mean, some of you packed group A, you packed your bags. You're just, no, not doing this right now. Like, you're figuring out where to go from here. And I feel like some of you, not all of you, but you're in this place of wanting to find your DM in other people. So it's like every new guy that you guys seem to come across, every new guy that you guys seem to, come in connection with, you're putting him up to the DM. And then when they don't rise up to the expectation of your DM, it's kind of like you turn it down. I don't know how else to explain how I feel right now, but it's like you shut it down. A lot of you are just sitting there in your, in your heads. And I mean, this really happens in like the quiet time, and even the DFs that have walked away and disconnected and said, you know what, I just can't do this anymore. I feel like there are still those moments in your life right now where you question, did I make the right decision by disconnecting? Did I make the right decision by cutting the cords? Yeah. So the DMs are going through this place right now where they're feeling really lost. They're feeling, sorry, I was putting the music back on. They're feeling really disconnected from you. They're also feeling conflicted. And I feel like where the DMs are is, like literally I could just see them yelling at themselves. Like, they're looking at a picture of you, they're watching your social media, they're, they could even be seeing you around, and it's kind of like, I need to go speak to her. I need to go tell her what happened. I need to go, explain why I walked away, why I ghosted, why I am the way that I am. But, the DM's just, it's hard because the DM is so much in his head right now, and he's been in his head. This has been coming up reoccurring, that the closer that he gets to getting the courage to come towards you, the closer he gets to trying to have that communication with you guys, he's literally like, how do I make this right? And it's like, I hear in my journal, and what I wrote down is like, baby, I miss you. I want to see you. And I know you ladies are like screaming at this, like screaming at the screen, like, hello, like, well, if he wants me and he wants to see me and he misses me, why doesn't he come forward? And I feel like, because males their egos are so freaking high, or, there's probably a bunch of other reasons, but, ego's always been one of them. But I feel like he's afraid of, I don't know, like, I feel like he's afraid of what your reaction is going to be once he comes back towards you, because he doesn't know if you're going to yell at him. He doesn't know if you're going to scream. He doesn't know if you're going to let him have it. He ghosted you for how long? he left without an explanation, right? So in his mind, he's like, watching your social media, he could be seeing you out and dating and having fun, and then he's going to come back and he's going to be shut down. So there's a lot going with the divine masculine, but he's been in his head for too long, in my opinion. But he knows. That's the thing. Like, the divine masculine knows that there's no one else for him but you. No one. And I felt this pullback. So I feel what the divine masculine is feeling. I feel like every time I do try to approach you, every time I do try to communicate with you, it literally feels like something is pulling me back. So I don't know two things. I don't know if this is the universe that steps in and said, wait, like, this is not the right time yet. There's still stuff that DF needs to work on. There's still stuff that she needs to figure out. Or if it's stuff that divine masculine still has to work out, and you guys don't know it yet, right? Like, nobody compares to you. At the end of the day, DFs, no one compares to you. The DM already knows that. He has been celibate. I have celibate here. He has had no physical contact with anyone, at least recently, from picking up this. I can't say since you guys disconnected, but I can tell you recently he has had no sexual contact with anyone. So he is, I don't want to say sexually frustrated, but he's starting to remember what it was like to be intimate with you. Right? The love that you had shown him, the love that was between you guys, was something that he has never felt with anyone else. And so he wants that back. But it's how do you get that back? How do you admit that what you did was wrong? Because you and I both know that it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of strength to admit when you're wrong. A lot of people walk around here telling that they would tell the truth, that they would admit when they're wrong. But when you're faced with that situation, when you're faced with that reality, no, you wouldn't. You would run out of fear. And that's where the DM is. All right. Like, I don't necessarily feel like the DM is where he is meant. Like, I don't feel like he is where he needs to be right now in order to come forward. I feel like he is realizing that the blockage or the feeling of being pushed back is because there is still something that he needs to work on. So I'm going to close this up with what I have here. So hopefully this has helped you guys. Have been getting a lot of messages for it. And I'm actually like really grateful and really, happy that you guys are resonating with this and it's starting to make sense. And, I just hope that continues. So the closing says this. They say when you meet your soulmate, twin flame, it will feel like you're in for the fight of your life. And I'm not talking about arguments or conflicts. I'm talking about that moment you meet up. You exchange eye contact, touching, kissing, that feeling of being safe, of feeling warm. Sort of like you finally made it home. You finally found that missing piece, and then it happens. And you find yourself disconnected only to feel alone and uncomfortable, kind of like you've been kidnapped. So what I was feeling there is that I've never been kidnapped, and I don't know anyone personally to me that has been kidnapped, but kidnapped come out for me because when you're kidnapped, you're scared, right? You don't know how to react. Like, do you scream? Do you stay quiet because you don't want to get hurt? Like, right? I feel like when you and the DM disconnected, I feel like you felt like a part of you couldn't have a feeling, you couldn't have a voice. That's what I say. That's what I feel when I say kidnap. So yes, I just want to leave this with you for a second. Sometimes when the pain becomes too much, we run. We close off, we forget what really matters, and we find ourselves attracted to negative thinking and negative outcomes. When our hearts feel broken and we feel like we have no other option, we tend to go elsewhere. DMs. One of the ways the universe teaches you the lessons you need to learn is learning through the process. You met DF for a reason before she knew you were the one you already knew. You were the only, meeting each other when you did wasn't an accident. You were meant to cross paths when you did. So I'm going to wrap it up. You both had pain. You both had previous relationships that broke you. So when you two came together, it felt like a stitch. All the pain previously didn't matter. You felt complete. The feelings you both had, the touch, the look, the way it felt to make love, if you got that far. You started to understand why it hasn't worked out with anyone else. So guys, this journey, like I've said before, it's hard. It will test you on so many levels. Neither the DM nor the DF really wants to leave this connection. But how do you hold on? You trust. You trust that even though your DM or your DF isn't with you at this moment, because of reasons we just may not understand right now, the healing process and forgiveness needs to occur. And some of you haven't done what is needed. Some, not all, are trying to control when it happens. And that right there is what's blocking most unions for coming through. You guys know I love you. I'm always praying for you. Work on healing, letting go, and trusting. All right, guys. So I'm going to leave it there. I'll see you guys really soon. Hopefully this helps. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Share it if you enjoyed it, if it helps. Spread the word. With that, I'll see you guys next time.